The wedding invitation arrived in a thick golden envelope, addressed to Mrs. Sarah Mitchell and guest. I hadn't used my married name in the 2 years since the divorce, but apparently my ex-husband's new bride wanted to make sure I remembered exactly what I'd lost. I placed the envelope carefully beside my laptop, where a spreadsheet full of quarterly reports from Jensen Technologies glared back at me. As the youngest board member of one of Silicon Valley's most powerful companies, I had bigger concerns than Davis's wedding to his former assistant, Miss Bennett. My assistant Claire buzzed through. The Jensen board meeting starts in 10 minutes. Thank you, Claire. I straightened my blazer, sliding the invitation back just slightly. RSVP to the wedding for me. Just myself, no guest. The video conference connected, revealing familiar faces mostly. Men over 60, their expressions a mixture of boredom and suspicion. Charles Jensen himself appeared, looking anxious, as he often did.
His company had been struggling since his wife passed.
And few outside the boardroom knew how dangerously close they were to a hostile takeover. Charles gave a small nod when he saw me. How's that little online business of yours? I smiled faintly, thinking of my little hobby. A digital marketplace that quietly processed more transactions than Amazon in 3 fast-growing markets. Oh, keeping busy. The meeting unfolded as usual. Endless debates over budgets, disputes over market share, and Charles shooting down every suggestion to modernize. I stayed quiet, observing the power dynamics, watching the old guard cling to outdated methods. My seat on the board had been Jackie Jensen's final gift to me, her prodigy before cancer stole her from us. Charles had never understood why Jackie had trusted me so much. After the meeting, my attention returned to the wedding invitation. The bride, Lisa, had added a handwritten note. We'd love to hear about your little shop during the toasts. Everyone enjoys a good laugh. I picked up my phone and dialed a familiar number. Marcus, how's our position in Jensen Technologies? My broker's voice was upbeat. We've quietly acquired another 2% through shell companies. Combined with your board seat and proxy votes, we're almost there. Good. Maintain the current strategy. And Marcus, send me everything on Charles Jensen's personal finances, especially any recent loans to his daughter, Lisa. The following weeks were a blur of meetings, financial maneuvers, and careful planning. I kept tabs on the wedding preparations through industry gossip. Lisa's father had apparently funded $1 million celebration, even as Jensen Technologies stock continued its slow, painful decline. The morning of the wedding I chose my outfit deliberately. A sleek navy dress, simple but undeniably expensive, paired with jewelry from my online shop. The pieces looked handcrafted but were actually manufactured in my factories across 3 continents. The ceremony was predictably extravagant. I sat quietly in the back, watching David beam at his young bride. He'd never looked at me that way, not even when I was building the business that had paid for his law degree. At the reception, Lisa held court at the head table, radiant in designer white. Her father sat beside her, constantly checking his phone, likely monitoring the declining stock price of his company. The wedding planner announced a special toast from the bride. Lisa rose, champagne flute in hand. When David told me his ex-wife was coming, I was surprised, she began, smiling in my direction. It must be hard seeing what you've lost. But Sarah's been so brave starting her little online shop after the divorce. David told me all about it. Handmade jewelry, isn't it? So cute. Laughter rippled through the guests. David at least looked uncomfortable. I just hope, Lisa continued, that she can find the same happiness I have, though maybe aim a bit lower in the husband department. Not everyone can land a senior partner. More laughter. I sipped champagne, which, by the way, cost more than her entire dress. Speaking of business, she giggled. Daddy's letting me join the family company soon. Maybe we can give you some tips about running a real business. Sarah. Charles nearly choked. He knew perfectly well that the company was far from ready to hire anyone, let alone his young, inexperienced daughter. I stayed calm, raising my glass in response. Congratulations, Lisa. I look forward to discussing business with you at the next Jensen Technologies board meeting. The room went silent. Charles' face drained of color. Lisa blinked in confusion. Daddy, what is she talking about? I smiled faintly. Oh, didn't your father mention? I've held Jackie's board seat for the past 3 years. In fact, we're voting on some significant leadership changes next week. Charles stood abruptly. Sarah, we should discuss this privately. Why? I kept my tone light, almost playful. I'm sure Lisa would love to hear about the company's current situation, falling stock prices, failed product launches. The loans you took out to fund this lovely wedding, that's enough. Charles snapped, but the damage was done. Murmurs spread through the room as guests put the pieces together. Many were Jensen Technologies investors. Of course, I continued, as a board member, I should congratulate you. Lisa, that $10 million trust fund your father promised you as a wedding gift so generous. Given the company's position, Lisa's perfect makeup couldn't hide her growing panic. I paused beside the table, letting the tension sink in. Oh, and that tip about running a real business? I added, letting my voice slide like silk across the room. My little shop processed $2 billion in sales last quarter. But you're right, it's nothing compared to a real company like Jensen Technologies. Sarah, please. Charles tried to grab my arm. I gently removed his hand. We'll discuss this at the board meeting, along with those interesting loans you've been taking against company assets. I'm sure Lisa would love to attend, as long as she's not too busy running her new division. As I walked out, chaos erupted. Behind me, my phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. Stocks already dropping on rumors. Ready to proceed. I typed back simply, begin phase 2. Then I send flowers to the happy couple, something suitable for a CEO's daughter while she's still is one. Sitting in my car, I pulled up the Jensen Technologies takeover documents. Sometimes the best revenge isn't in the moment of revelation, but in the slow unraveling that follows. After all, I didn't build an empire by rushing things. Like a perfect wedding toast, timing is everything. The Monday after the wedding, Jensen Technologies stock plunged 15% before noon. I watched the numbers fall from my private office while social media exploded with video clips from Les Ocil. Faded wedding toast. Someone had helpfully captioned them. CEO's daughter mocks billionaire board member. Miss Bennett Claire appeared with my afternoon coffee. Charles Jensen is in the lobby with his daughter. Both of them. How interesting. I checked my security feed. Lisa had traded her wedding glow for-smeared mascara, while Charles looked like he hadn't slept in days. Give them 10 minutes. Let them sweat. I used that time to confirm my position. Through various shell companies and careful maneuvering, I now controlled 43% of Jensen Technologies shares. Charles owned 31%, and the remaining board members were firmly in my corner after years of his mismanagement. When they were finally shown, Lisa rushed forward. You have to fix this. The media is destroying me. Fix what? I kept scrolling through emails. Your social media embarrassment or your father's financial misconduct. Sarah. Charles stepped forward. Be reasonable. This vendetta against Lisa, vendetta. Ifnley looked up. Charles, if I wanted revenge, I would have exposed your creative accounting at the wedding instead of just hinting at it. He paused. Those transactions were approved. By using Jackie's old passwords to authorize wire transfers to personnel accounts. I pulled up documents on my screen. Did you really think Shul didn't tell me all her passwords before she died? Lisa sank into a chair. Daddy, what did you do? Nothing illegal, he insisted. Just temporary transfers took over some investments in Lisa's trust fund, I asked mildly. The one you promised her despite the company being nearly bankrupt. Bankrupt. Lisa's voice arose to a shriek. But my wedding, the house you bought us, I'll pay for with company money, I confirmed. Money Thatchold have gone to developing new products or paying dividends to shareholders. Charles straightened hasty. What do you want? The same thing Jackie wanted, to save this company from your ego. I handed him a folder. Your resignation effective immediately. A full confession about the misappropriated funds and Lisa's written agreement to decline any executive position. You can't do this, Lisa stood, designer heels wobbling. I'm a Jensen. I'm the person who controls your father's company. I pulled up more documents. Would you like to see their L numbers, Lisa? The debt, the failed products, the millions your father spent in your lifestyle. She grabbed the papers, her makeup streaked face crumbling as she rated. These are lies. Actually, Charles said quietly, they're true. All of it. The silence that followed was deafening. You have until 5 p.m. to sign, I told them. After that, you take this to the sick. And if we sign, Charles asked. After that, you take this to the CIT. This to the CIT. If is CIT. If he, with he. Charles asked. You keep your freedom, a modest pension, and your reputation mostly intact. I smiled. Consider it Jackie's final act of mercy. Lisa threw the papers down. This is because of David, isn't it? Because he chose me over you. I laughed, genuinely amused. Lisa, David didn't choose you. He chose what he thought was a wealthy CEO daughter. How long do you think you'll stay once the money's gone? As if on cue, my phone buzzed with a news alert. Yensin Technologies CEO under investigation. Stock continues. Plunge. Lisa's phone lit up immediately. David calling. Nona, having seen the news, gestured at it, letting it ring. He's calling about the print up, isn't he? I asked gently. The one that specifies his settlement is based on your net worth at time of divorce. Tears rolled down her cheeks. How did you? Because he helped Jackie draft it years ago when David first started showing interest in Yensin Technologies' female employees. Is that back? She knew his type. Charles put his arm around his daughter. We'll sign. Jess, give us a moment. I nodded, watching them huddle together, whispering frantically. My phone buzzed again, Marcus confirming that our takeover position was secure. At 4:59 p.m., they signed everything. As security escorted them out, Lisa turned back. Was any of it real? She asked. Your little jewelry business. Come see for yourself. I handed her a card. My company's having a job fair next month. Entry-level positions, of course. But at least they're legitimate. After they left, I called an emergency board meeting. It was time to announce the changes, starting with my appointment as CEO. My phone lit up with a text from David. We need to talk about old times. I deleted it without responding. Some people never learn, but others, like Lisa, might surprise you. After all, Jackie had taken a chance on me on Swin. I was just a knave in turning off building something real. The board members filed in virtually, eager to hear my plans for saving their investments. I stood straight in my Nava dress, the same one from the wedding. Ladies and gentlemen, I began. Let's discuss the future of Yensin Technologies and why the best revenge isn't destruction. I smiled, thinking off Lisa's card still clutched in her shaking hand. It's reconstruction. Charles' office was already being packed up. On his desk, a photo of Jackie remained. The only thing he'd asked to keep. She smiled out from the frame, probably knowing all along it would end this way. I picked up the photo, remembering her words. Success isn't about power, Sarah. It's about knowing when to use it. Looking out at the city skyline, I pulled up Lisa's resume on my phone. It was thin, mostly society functions and charity galas. Butavarian deserved a chance to build something real. 6 months later, I sat in my CEO office at Yensin Technologies, reviewing quarterly reports when a familiar face appeared in my doorway. Lisa looked different. Business attire instead of designer dresses, her previously perfect manicure replaced by practical lengths. Your 9 o'clock is here, she announced professionally, setting down my coffee exactly how I liked it. Who would have thought the former CEO daughter would make such an efficient executive assistant? Thank you, Lisa. How's the night school program going? Business administration is harder than I expected, she admitted. But my professor says I have potential. I nodded, remembering her first day 3 months ago. She'd shown up in Louboutins in tears, having sold most of her designer wardrobe to pay rent after David predictably filed for divorce. But something in her had changed. Maybe it was hitting rock bottom. Or maybe it was finally seeing how real business worked from the ground up. Your father, Caladagan, I mentioned casually. Their retirement community in Florida seems Tobe treating him well. Lisa straightened some papers on my desk. He's adjusting, teaching tennis to other retirees instead of running board meetings. It's probably better for his blood pressure. My phone buzzed. David's law firm was representing a client trying to acquire one of my smaller companies. His 15th attempt to get my attention since the divorce papers arrived at his office. Speaking of adjustments, Lisa said carefully. David asked me to pass you a message. Not interested. I closed the notification. How's the project I gave you coming along? Her eyes lit up. I've analyzed all our entry-level hiring practices like you asked. There's definitely room for improvement in recruiting diverse candidates. I have some suggestions. I gestured for her to continue watching as she confidently walked me through her presentation. Gone was the spoiled socialite who mocked my little shop. In her place stood Samyam beginning to understand real value. Good work, I said when she finished. Draft a formal proposal. If it's solid, you can present it to the board next month. She blinked. The board? But I'm just an assistant. Jackie Jensen started as a receptionist. I reminded her. It started selling handmade jewelry online. Success isn't about where you start. It's about what you learn along the way. After she left, I pulled up the late sales figures from my little shop, now one of the largest e-commerce platforms in the world. A notification popped up. Charles had finally sold his remaining shares, officially ending the Jensen family's connection to the company. Well, almost ending it. I opened my disk drawer, removing the photo of Jackie that Charles had left behind. She'd been right about so many things, including the fact that true power isn't in destroying people, but in transforming them. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Marcus. David's firm is suggesting a merger. Should I take the meeting? I thought about the poetic justice of acquiring the law firm where David had once lorded his senior partnership over me. But some victorious aren't worth the energy. Decline, it tipped back. But send them a gift basket from my little online shop. Lice appeared again. Your next appointment is here. And thank you for everything. Don't thank me yet. I smiled. Wait until you see the workload that comes with a board presentation. After she left, I looked at Jackie's photo one last time before placing it on my desk. She taught me that success was the best revenge, but redemption could be even sweeter. I opened my laptop to prepare for the next meeting. On my screen, a news alert popped up. Jensen Technologies stock hit all-time high under new leadership. Below was a smaller headline. Former society bride takes entry-level job. I'm finally earning my own way. Sometimes the biggest victories aren't in the bedroom but in the small transformations that happen along the way. Even if they start with a wedding toast syndrome.